That's critical when we get into tomorrow's race. Jimmy had a C, Russell's got a B. There's no particular reason or order there. Depends on how they've been arranged on the entry.
Russel Ingall's lap has started in the Caltex Ford. The team felt fortunate that the rains came a couple of days ago, yesterday in qualifying, and brought it to a premature end, and that allowed them to be in the top 10 because they said the car wasn't that good.
And what Jimmy's point was there before about tyres, Lee, is that you'll make so much more advantage in these dry parts of the circuit on the slick tyre, like in the braking area here for turn 2 and all through this next right-hander. And they'll have now seen what the first two cars have done. He'll have been well warned about how slippery it is towards the dipper and down at Forest Elbow, so there you can afford to roll right out of it. And already now they'll have started these tyres much higher in their cold starting pressure to try and make temperature and pressure early, so they'll be pretty effective from about this point on in the lap, so you can afford to just breathe out of it a little when you get to the critical parts.
Coming up to the end of the first split, we'll have a time for you momentarily as Ingall gets it sideways, and there is your answer. 2.8 seconds faster than our quickest man Glenn Seaton to this point.
I tell you what, Russell had a bit of a moment on the way down to what we call the metal grate there in Reed Park. From here on in, though, he's got to be a bit more circumspect. There's no grip in a couple of places. And you can see that the language in the car is much, much slower than we're accustomed to. Already a couple of wheel grooves there. You can't afford to come out of those wheel tracks through that critical part. One more tricky spot to negotiate at Forest Elbow.
Easy, easy. And then it is the run to home. If he can get through here, he is good. And he does it.
And by that point in the lap, those slick tyres have started to come up to their optimum temperature and pressure, 3.7 seconds. So that will trigger everybody down the pit lane now to dive on slicks.
Everybody else will be on those ones. No more wet weather tyres as he flies towards Daryl Beattie into the chase. How did it look, Daryl?
290 kilometres an hour, and I tell you what, slicks through that chase is a hell of a lot different.
And
he's gone!
You know what he's done? He's got rear brake bias on for a wet setting. He's got too much rear brake and he's binned it. Barry Hay distraught. Russell's pinched the rear brakes at a critical moment.